of being a global icon. Because it's strange for you to go from performing from five to performing in front of 10 people to performing in front of millions. For you selling out arenas, 100 seats gone, 100,000 seats, you sold them, 200,000 seats, sold them. Everybody's watching you, everything you do is news. Sometimes they need these drugs, not because it helps creativity, but they use it to like cope with, the expectation that the fans expect, or what the fans expect from them, or all this what they call it, all this work that they are doing. They use it to cope, not necessarily because they want to use it to bring about creativity. Sometimes they use it to just escape from these challenges that they are facing. And why one thing I find very unfair is that we have a system here where young people are disenfranchised. Young people are put in situations whereby they feel that they have to compromise. They have to compromise on their values. When you are a lady now, someone says, "Oh, the only way you're going to get a job is if you sleep with me," or the only way you're going to get admission to this school or that school is if you come to my hotel room and come and spend some time with me. And because of this hardship that young people face in our country, right, some of them turn to drugs. It's like this. Some of them listen to these artists talk about drugs, right? Let's say I'm facing so much difficulty, but I'm a Wizkid fan, so I always listen to Wizkid, right? He talks about drugs all the time. So here I go. I want to partake in the drugs because my favorite superstar does drugs, so I do drugs. So a lot of young people, these drugs is an escape from the challenges of the challenges that they face. Not being able to get a job, getting a job that is not just paying your bills, all these challenges. Oh, you finish university, now you have to make enough money to get married. You don't have a good job. Your mom is saying you must marry, your dad is saying you must marry, but you don't have money to get married. So there's these expectations on people. And a lot of time, again, it has to do with the family dynamics too. So it's like when dad and mom is not around and all you have is music, that's all you listen to, then you start buying the personas of this artist and start pretending that this must be what it feels like, to be Wizkid. So Afrobeats is a major vehicle, that normalizes drug use, especially in youths. That's the major point I'm trying to make in this first segment, that music, Afrobeat specifically, which focuses a lot on drugs, like I said, 77% of the music content is about drugs, and when young people listen to it, this content normalizes drug use in the young people. And that's just the major thing I'm talking about in this first segment. So welcome to the second part of our conversation, which is going to be the social consequences of drug use. Why you may see on music videos and in movies, people using drugs, and they always show you people using drugs, and then there are women, naked women, and the music is playing, and everybody seems like they're having a good time, and they're trying to let you know that, man, once you do drugs, women just appear, naked women appear, the music is playing, and man, you feel like you're in heaven, and it's a vibe, Let's now look at the social consequences of drug use, So the first one I'm going to talk about is that drugs changes you. When you take drugs, whether it's weed, whether it's tramadol, whether it's codeine, the longer you take the drugs, the more it begins to change your system. Because what you are putting in your system is, the way your body works is, what you are putting in your system, when you put something foreign in your system, your body reacts to it. But if you keep putting that foreign object in your system, over time, your body adapts to it. And that's where it's dangerous, in the sense that as you're introducing these drugs into your system, whether it's codeine, whether it's tramadol, whether it's heroin, you're using it, your body reacts to it. But the longer you use it, the drugs begin to change your system. Your body begins to crave the drug over time. And when the drug gets used to your system, it begins to alter your brain, your organs, it begins to affect it. And that's where real problem starts. But people don't tell you that. That's where you find out that someone has become addicted to these drugs. Like, he cannot do a day without that drug. If you want him to function optimally, you must go and get weed for him. You must go and get codeine for him. You must go and get tramadol or cocaine for him, because he needs that drugs to function. And so, imagine, and what happens now when you now try to stop using the drug? That's where the problem comes in, because your system has gotten used to the drug. So you to now stop and say, oh, I'm not going to do the drug, it doesn't work that way. Your system will start craving for the drugs. And that's how you see some people, they spend 10 years, 15 years fighting this thing. Oh, do drugs, don't do drugs, do drugs. I want to do drugs. I will stop today, I will stop tomorrow. Before you know it, 10 years down the line, they are fighting their cocaine addiction. They are fighting their codeine addiction. And you may not know, simple things like this can derail your life in a big way. That's one thing they don't tell you. They make drugs look like fun, but they don't tell you the consequences. The second thing is that it disrupts families' lives. When a family member is on drugs, it affects other people. Because now, everybody is going to try their best to try and get the person off drugs. The father is going to be going from maybe pastor to psychologist to native doctor to try and get the person to get off this drug. The mother may be going to night vigil every day trying to get them off this drug. Your sister and brother, instead of them going to school, they'll be watching. Let's watch Tunde. If you allow Tunde now, go and buy drug. Let's watch it. Mom said we should not allow Tunde to go out because once Tunde go out now, we're going to look for drugs. It disrupts family lives. The time that you people will spend, there is no time for people to spend as a family because Tunde is on drugs. So it becomes something that just disrupts families, and then God help you if your extended family knows that you're on drugs, and then the whole thing can be a mess. So it disrupts family lives. The next one is productivity, affects productivity. In the sense that this time that your years you are spending on your drug habit could have been used to do some other things that are going to be important in your life. It could have been a time you could have used to start a business. The money you are spending on drugs could have been used for something else. It could have been used to invest in maybe your, let's say, your education, because it's difficult for you to keep up your university days, university education, and then with drugs there, sometimes it disrupts it. So it affects productivity. And if you are one of those people that is gainfully employed, when you are using drugs, if you are not careful over time, it can start affecting your job, in the sense that what you notice is that you start missing work. You don't you don't do the work you're supposed to do. You do the work haphazardly because, I need a fix right now. I used to work with somebody that on Fridays, he leaves work early because he needs to go and get drugs. So it affects productivity. Another thing again is that drug use, is always associated with risky sexual behavior. It like goes hand in hand. People that smoke weed all the time, do drugs all the time, there's that tendency for them to seek other pleasures, like sex. So, and again, people that do that, they're more likely to engage in unprotected sex. Because it's all about having fun, and you're on drugs and you're feeling good about yourself. You may not have the time to get a condom and all this stuff, or to be safe, because it's all a vibe, you're having fun. So there's that tendency for them to engage in a higher risky sexual behavior. It's not uncommon for a lady who is on drugs to go and want to have sex with 3 or 4 men because she's zoned out of her mind. So that is not really uncommon. So those are kind of the things that you see. And that thing again that comes with these drugs is violence. For some strange reason, violence always comes with drug use, because that's just how it is. Because people that sell drugs, they tend to be violent, especially when you don't have their money. And people who are addicted to drugs tend to be violent again when they see that you're standing in the way of them getting their drugs, getting this illegal substance that they want. Okay, Tunde is addicted to drugs, and mom said we should not. Mom said he cannot leave the house, and so he beats up mom so he can leave the house, or he beats up his sisters and brothers so he can leave the house and go and get drugs. So violence is always associated with it, and of course, legal problems too. Because you're addicted to drugs, and one day you can end up with a legal issue. Let's say, for example, you were seeking drugs and you didn't have